Hello, Torin. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Torin. I'm an academic coach at Swoon Learning. I coach mathematics, statistics, some history, and some college prep. So that can include college readiness, application help, or ACT prep. I'm a data science and cognitive science major at UC Berkeley in my third year, and future goals or aspirations in education, still figuring that out, but hopefully far down the line, I can maybe be a professor.
So we're going to get started with the interview. And so I'm going to be asking you, Torin, a couple of questions. For the first question is, what inspired you to become an academic coach? And how does your passion for education align with Swoon Learning's commitment to student growth and empowerment?
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think one of the main reasons that I decided to be an academic coach is because I really just love the process of teaching as well. I feel like some of the most gratification that I've received in my life has been through imparting knowledge and through ensuring that these students like come out of these sessions with more information and more confidence in their subject than when they started. I think that's a great feeling. And also, I had heard rave reviews about Swoon Learning from Monica because you were an academic coach before, and that also really inspired me to become an academic coach. And then I think in terms of aligning with Swoon Learning's commitment to student growth and empowerment, I think I've really understood that, as I know Monica and I were both extremely involved in our schools, like in high school and throughout college, and it's often difficult to like strike that balance. So I think just to have someone in your corner, like being an academic coach at Swoon Learning, is extremely powerful to enable student growth, to make sure that they have the resources and the tools that they need to be successful both in their academics and in their extracurriculars. So that definitely aligns with my life and my passions.
Yeah, I also agree that it's really cool to like see them gain confidence in like a new subject that they were struggling with. So yeah, that's very cool. All right. For the second question is, how would you describe your coaching style and personality? And how do you think it influences your students?
Yeah, so I think that the way that I would best describe my coaching style and personality is that it's not like a one size fits all type of strategy. I think that I try to pride myself on like meeting students where they're at. If they are like easily distracted, or if they are not very focused in on their subject, I'm able to take a more like, all right, we need to get this and this done within this hour, and we should stay extremely on track, and we should get through that. If they're looking for something a little bit more of a personal connection, I would like to say that I can cater towards that. And I wouldn't consider myself a friend, but I would consider myself someone that they should feel comfortable with. I think that's like whatever the student needs to feel comfortable is how I like to tailor my coaching style, because if they don't feel like they're able to answer my questions without feeling judged or feeling like like they did something wrong, then that diminishes the potential learning that they can make in a session. So I'd like to say that however a student, whatever they need to hear in order to feel like they are going to be able to make more progress within this session, is how I will cater my coaching style. And I think that, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I think that influences my students to hopefully feel more open with me and more able to try things out on their own that they may not have done, like just sitting with themselves, because they know they have someone who will be able to provide them accurate feedback in a very like polite and not like right or wrong way.
Yeah. I feel like it's also really great that like here in Swoon Learning, you're able to just have like a one-on-one interaction with your student. And so that obviously helps with like, being able to be flexible and being able to kind of be adapted with their learning style. So I'm glad that you were very flexible with that. All right. For the third question is, what do you admire most about the students you work with, and how do their personalities inspire you?
Yeah, so I think something that I really like enjoy about all my students is that they really come to these sessions with like a positive attitude. I know they're all extremely busy, like they're here at Swoon Learning because they're involved in either like sports or some other extracurriculars, and they're just trying to find that balance. They're trying to have that 1 hour, 1.5 hours a day where they can just sit down and they know they'll be able to receive this help. So I think coming into that, not being like down on themselves, especially like in I have a lot of evening sessions, and they've already had a full day of school. They've maybe like played like 2 hours of their sport or something, and then they're coming here and they're be like, okay, like I'm willing to learn. I respect that a lot, and I really appreciate that drive to learn and that motivation, and that definitely empowers me as well.
Cool. And then how do you foster strong, trusting relationships with your students so they feel safe to learn and take risks?
Yeah. So I think, like I kind of alluded to earlier, I like to really place emphasis on when any progress is made, and that doesn't have to be a correct answer, right? Like I think there's always learning experiences in both correct answers and incorrect answers, and as long as we are like identifying what they know and what they don't know, that is still progress in any way. So I like to ensure that like a wrong answer or something that they don't know is still helpful and incredibly helpful for the session itself. So it um because everything is going to be a learning experience, especially if they don't know something, right? If I know that it might seem like you should come to these sessions and you should be getting everything right. You should be like, okay, I learned this in class. Like I'm here to show you what I've learned, but that's not why I'm here, right? Like I'm not here to be like a backboard for you to know everything. I'm here so that we can learn together, right? So I try to emphasize that and make sure that we have like kind of open communication about like, hey, I genuinely do not understand this. And so we just be able to break that down and ensure that they feel comfortable like asking me questions and trying answers that they wouldn't know in class or know on their own.
Do you have any strategies for motivating students?
Yeah, so I would say that one strategy that I like to use is just typically just bringing it back to like why we're here and that the focus is on them. Like, um, it may come off as a little bit blunt depending on the student, but we're not here so that like I can achieve the gratification of knowing that I know this subject, right? Like that's not the point. The point is so that they can learn and like maybe it's bringing it back to, okay, hey, I heard you have a test in 2 weeks and you said you're not feeling super confident about this test. So like maybe let's get going on these questions, right? Or maybe it's something like, hey, like if it's something college readiness, hey, I know you want to do this subject matter at this college. This is something that I found was really helpful when I was learning X subject in college, right? So like I think taking the point of view of someone who has more experience, hopefully in that field, or maybe have seen someone that has more experience in that field, be like, hey, this was an important concept. This will help you later on. Because I think nobody wants to mess with their future. It's just sometimes like a lack of motivation can get in the way of that. And I understand that firsthand. I'm sure Monica does as well. I think we all do that. Like we're not inherently trying to create a worse future for ourselves. It's just sometimes hard to get out of a lack of motivation. So I think just taking the perspective of, hey, like I've seen how this can help you in the future, or I can see like you have this goal that's like in the immediate future, and just having someone telling them that out loud hopefully will help their motivation.
Yeah, I feel like that's another cool thing about Swoon. Like, obviously, us academic coaches have been through all of high school and everything that they're currently experiencing. And so it's really nice that they can see us as like a mentor or like role model for them. So, yeah. Okay, cool. So that finalizes your section of the interview, Torin. Very good job.
Awesome. Thank you. Monica, would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, yes. Hi, my name is Monica Lozada, and I am an academic coach at Swoon Learning. Some of the subjects that I teach are also mathematics, and I also have some like biology and chemistry. I currently attend UC Irvine, and I'm studying biology with a minor in health informatics, and I'm in my third year. In the future, I hope to become a emergency medicine doctor, and yeah.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, so what inspired you to become an academic coach, and how is your passion for education aligned with Swoon Learning's commitment to student growth and empowerment?
Yeah, so I have always loved teaching. I think I always found myself in situations where I was teaching others. Since elementary school, I was always a student that like would be assigned to help someone out, and then that quickly progressed to like me being able to be like a teacher aide for an elementary class during the summer, and then ultimately leading me here to Swoon about a year ago, which I was also I was able to learn more about Swoon through my sister, who's also an academic coach. And so I think for me, I just truly love seeing people, seeing students gain their confidence, like Torin mentioned, I think it's super incredible being able to see their confidence level and like just dramatically increase in just one session. And I truly, truly, really love seeing that. And so I feel like that is one of the things that personally like it just aligns with Swoon Learning's commitment. I think it's really important that we recognize like seeing our own progress, and just I also think that education should be something that makes you feel capable and confident. And so being able to be part of that journey for someone else has always been something that I truly care about. And so that is why I really love Swoon Learning and just being able to do this work for others.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.
And how would you describe your coaching style and personality, and how do you think it influences your students?
Yeah, so I personally, since forever, I have always tried creating a very student-centered and highly like adaptable, but also a very warm environment. While I am their academic coach and I am like a mentor that's older than them, I want them to see me as like a friend, but also still maintain, I'll always be professional, but I want them to feel comfortable with me because I truly want them to be able to feel comfortable and confident to approach me and be like, listen, I don't get this. Or tell me, Monica, what you're doing like right now, how you're saying it is not making sense. Because after all, we are here for them, and I want to make sure that I'm doing my best to fit their needs. And so since the beginning, I have always been like, tried to create a good relationship with them where, I want them to be able to be like, hey, like I didn't do well on this test because of this. And I like always ask them like, how was your day? Like, what was something cool that happened to you? Or like, how was your break? And stuff like that. And so because of that, I feel like I've created really good relationships with my students. And I clearly have seen that they're very comfortable being like, yeah, no, like this is not making sense to me. And then we can pivot. And I feel like that flexibility from me has really helped my students be able to improve. And, I've been with one of my students for a couple months now. They transitioned from like eighth grade to high school. And I really have seen them love geometry and like algebra even like more than ever, like than before. And so I think it truly is just me being able to let them know that like they can talk to me, we can work it out together. And yeah. So
Awesome. Yeah, it is incredibly important to foster those relationships with your students, and I know firsthand that you're doing a great job of that.
thank you.
Okay, so onto the unique questions. What do you think your students would say is your most defining characteristic as a coach?
I think they would say that I am a very determined person that always pushes my students to like succeed. They know that I'm not only here like to do my work as a tutor, but I truly, truly do want them to succeed in any way possible, even if that's just in a personal level or like in an academic level. I think that because I was able to form a very strong and meaningful relationship with my students, they have seen how much I care about them. And while, I'm here for academics, I also want to know like that overall, because, these are student athletes, these are students that are constantly busy or like, they have a lot going on. And I want to make sure that not only are they doing well in their academics, but also in their mental health. And so I feel like because of that, they have really noticed how much I care about them. And I will always push them to do their best. I will always give them tips, out of nowhere to make sure that they are improving in any way in their life. And so I think that that is one of my most defining characteristics as a coach, just because I feel like it makes our sessions a little bit more meaningful, and like they truly, like what I keep repeating, it makes them feel more comfortable talking to me. And so I really do see that, knowing that like I really care about them and I really want them to succeed, and I will do anything possible to get them to reach their goal.
Yeah, and I think having been on both sides of that, like as a student and as a coach, it's incredibly important to know that your tutor or your teacher just like wants the best for you. And I think that's like a great, like a very comforting feeling, and it makes me want to learn more. So yeah, it's great. And what's the most significant thing you've learned since you started being an academic coach at Swoon?
Yeah. So I think one of the coolest things about Swoon Learning is that we are able to reach out to students all over the place. And so one of my students is actually from Hawaii, and then another of my students is from like the Bay. And so I am here in Southern California, and prior to student learning, my experiences in tutoring were based on like my elementary school and like my middle school and high school. So it was just one area where like it was a public school and I kind of knew the curriculum and all of that. And so just like the availability of student learning, it really opened my perspective on how there's so many different curriculums and like so many ways of approaching a subject. Like one of them, for a private school curriculum, it can be completely different. It's same subject, but it can be a different approach than like a public school here at the Bay. And so for me, it was really cool to see that because I personally like I didn't even think like, oh no, like I thought everyone learned the same way, everyone learned the same thing. And so honestly, this really truly taught me to be like more adaptive and kind of allow me to be a little bit more like flexible and also use those resources from like my other students if I'm teaching the same subject and like give them a different perspective on how to see that certain subject that they are both doing. And so honestly, that has been one of the coolest things because it has expanded my knowledge on a subject. And I definitely see that in my students as well, just because I have just a different, like a broader view of how we approach subjects in different areas. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it is extremely cool how wide-reaching, Swoon is and how, like, variable each student's experience is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there any advice you have for students wanting to balance their academic and extracurricular lives?
Yes. So I think that this is a very critical skill that not only like that we all need to work and strengthen forever. I don't think we can ever fully dominate balancing like everything out. It's really difficult, especially, as we grow older. But I think I've definitely seen improvement even in like myself. And I would love to share some things that I do. Like all of our students in Swoon Learning, I was also in like in a sport in high school, and I was also taking a whole bunch of classes. And so and now in college, like I have work and a lot of things that I'm involved in. And I feel like for me, some of the some of the beneficial habits were like, keeping a my Google Calendar. And I use that now instead of a planner, but a planner also it works very well. But what I like doing, and even in high school I did this, was that I would set time slots for each of my classes. And so I know that even like for math, I knew that that would take me a little bit longer. So I would do like maybe 2 hours of math, then I would do like history, science, and then go back to math because I knew how important it was to like take breaks from a subject, change it up, give your brain a little bit of a break and then go back to it. And so I feel like for me, having that kind of order of being like, okay, from 1 to 2, I'm going to work on math and then etc. It kind of made me feel a little bit better. Like, yeah, I'm going to have enough time to give my full attention to a certain subject. And so Google Calendar is one of the things that I really love and I highly recommend to all my students. I always tell them like, I got one of my students to put stuff into their Google Calendar. And so that has been great. And then another thing is that for extracurriculars, I think it's very important for us to know that while obviously we're all thinking about extracurriculars as in like, I need to put them all into my college apps, I think it's more meaningful to have one or two good, solid extracurriculars than just having so many and not being able to like fully dedicate your time. Because after all, we're looking for meaningful activities like that especially that you're passionate about. And so while it may be really difficult to be like, no, but I want to do everything, I highly recommend for you to really decide like what you really care about and what you're most passionate about and stick with those because it will just be way more meaningful and it will make your life a little bit easier with trying to balance your academics plus all the extracurriculars that you will have that you have. So, yes.
Awesome. So that concludes all of our questions for this interview. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
You too, Torin. Amazing job. Okay. Thank you.